Hello friends! As you may notice, I am not in my usual surroundings. I am about 1,200 kilometers away from home. I am also 1,200 kilometers away from my spinning wheels. So surely that means I will not be spinning.
Wrong.
Well, spinning of course is not a stationary hobby. The first type of spinning in the Neolithic period was done with spindles. And they are quite portable. So everything I need, it all fits inside a little box. This one to be precise. It's not that little, it's a shoebox for my husband's shoes, and he has size 47, which is quite humongous actually, but I have spun up 5 fluffy bats, again with some scraps I had. This is my drop spindle. It's a top whorl spindle from Ashford. I am not sponsored by Ashford, but if you want to, I would be open to do that. Just start twirling with this thing, let's start spinning! At first I was just spinning near our vacation home, but I soon realized that I needed a bit more of a challenge. So I decided that I wanted to spin with this drop spindle in at least 5 really cool and unusual places. For the first unusual place, I answered to the call of the mountains. It also added a bit of danger, because dropping your drop spindle from a mountain is not something I can recommend. Not that it happened. And then secondly, I thought it would be really cool and actually quite rebellious to spin in a religious place. But I'm not that much of a rebel that I would actually spin in a church, so I went to a ruined hermitage instead. I have told you before that I studied history in university, so a medieval castle cannot be excluded from this list. So here is the Château Comtal de Fenouillet. Also, if you want to know more of any of these places, then you can head over to my other channel, which I co-host with my husband, called The History Hikers. Hashtag shameless plug. Naysayers may argue that this is not an unusual place, this is just a road. But I thought it was also quite a bit of a challenge and some practice to spin my drop spindle while I was on a walk. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we call it a drop spindle. For our final unusual place, I chose a riverside because I was in the Tarn and the Aude department, which are both named after their respective rivers. So I thought that fit. But eventually it was time to wrap up as the sun set on our French adventure. So we are back in beautiful bland boring Belgium, and I must admit that I bit off more than I can chew. Spindle spinning 5 bats while also on vacation and also making a ambitious knitting project, as you saw in my previous video. That was not realistic, if not to say very ambitious. So I think I spun up 1 bat and a quarter, which resulted in this family of little skeins. So yeah, you don't see that anything ever has left my box, it's still full. So I know what to do the next coming weeks. They are increasingly more consistent, so those 2 weeks of spinning really improved my technique, my consistency. I'm really happy with it. It was a great exercise because I don't usually tend to grab my drop spindle if I want to do some spinning. But now I've got a little stash of yarn that I made on a drop spindle, which is, I think it's really neat. From a distance, I think, if I see very good on the viewfinder, they look very grey, but actually they're not. They've got like all different kinds of colors. But the challenge of spinning with my drop spindle on these cool, unusual, maybe even whimsical places was a great stimulus to use my drop spindle more, because last year when I was just at home in Belgium, I just didn't use it at all, which is a pity, because spinning with a spindle is such a neat technique. In any case, if you enjoy these kind of fiber shenanigans, you maybe could like, comment, subscribe. It's up to you. And I will see you next time. Bye!